Good morning and welcome to Lariat TV News Today. I'm Meredith Aldis.
And I'm Elizabeth Tharp. Thanks for joining us.
Baylor is home to many different students with different backgrounds, including veterans. I sat down with one veteran who's found a new home at Baylor. Ryan Reynolds is not your traditional Baylor student. He is 30 years old, married, commutes 2 hours a day to get to campus, and is a veteran. During his first semester at Baylor, he befriended more professors than classmates and ate lunch in his car while listening to ESPN radio.
I prefer less people. I don't like feeling crowded, though I'm trying to work past that.
After medically retiring from the military, he knew he wanted to go to college in Texas, but wasn't sure about Baylor at first.
So I really just kind of showed up as a courtesy because I applied and reached out, and it's cheesy. I kind of found that at home though, like welcome.
Reynolds said he struggles with PTSD and severe anxiety and tends to isolate himself. About 10 months ago, he decided to put himself out there by going to counseling and finding ways to deal with things that make him uncomfortable.
Recently, I heard someone say, don't double down on your strengths, triple down on your weaknesses, and that had a big impact on me. It's like to really challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone, do things I don't like to do, kind of force myself to overcome any fears or anything that might hold me back.
Since the opening of the Vets Lounge in August of 2017, it has provided many vets on campus a place to call home.
The veteran community is very unique. Like, we are all extremely tight-knit, even though we may have just met each other. There's instant bonds that you can't really describe, but it's just there.
Although it can be tough sometimes being a non-traditional student at Baylor, Reynolds believes non-traditional students benefit a classroom.
I think veterans have kind of a unique experience. They're a little calloused and a little jaded, and sometimes can be a bit crass. But I think that that's a nice element to add to a classroom, because life is crass and jaded, and it's not going to be smooth sailing.
For Lariat TV News Today, I'm Meredith Aldis.
2 Baylor professors have joined forces in the fight against cancer. Dr. Mary Lynn Trawick and Dr. Kevin Pinney are combining their efforts within the cancer research field in order to study how cancerous tumors operate. The professors' 2 labs are currently looking into the blood flow of cancer cells and how to degrade tumors without affecting normal healthy tissue. The latter project is being conducted through a collaboration with Dr. Ralph Mason at the University of Texas Southwestern and uses live mice. Trawick and Pinney are also working on several individual projects such as the development of biomedical compounds that can enter tumors and targeting enzymes that are involved in cancer metastasis.
It has been nearly a year since Dr. Linda Livingstone became Baylor's 15th president, and in an interview with the Baylor Lariat, the university leader spoke about her year in review. Academics, Title IX protocol, and administrative transparency have all been focuses for Baylor's first female president since she took office last June. Livingstone said it was painful to see what the university was going through and that she was happy to come in and help. In her time as president, Livingstone has seen the implementation of 105 recommendations for Title IX policy that lifted a warning sanctioned by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. The president is also overseeing the start of an academic strategic plan called Illuminate that will focus on academics, facilities, financing, and fundraising. Finally, the president said she has been focused on opening lines of communications with the start of a weekly email called Presidential Perspective, highlighting the many good things happening on campus. To read the full interview with Baylor's president, visit BaylorLariat.com.
Want to save lives? Delta and Zeta Tau Alpha are hosting their 2nd annual Be the Match Bone Marrow Drive on Wednesday, April 4th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Fountain Mall. And all it takes is a cheek swab to be entered into a huge registry full of cancer patients designed to match your blood type with someone who is in need of blood or bone marrow transplants. You can make a difference that could last a lifetime.
Caritas of Waco, a nonprofit organization that provides food, clothing, and miscellaneous goods to the Waco community, celebrated 51 years of service with their annual Feast of Caring at 6 p.m. Tuesday at the Waco Convention Center. The event featured local restaurants and a soup cook-off, and a dessert cook-off, in addition to auctions for various prizes. The donations raised at the event will go towards supporting Caritas's work for the next year. The event was a success as attendees from all around Waco enjoyed food, fun, and community at the event last night. For anyone who wants to get involved with Caritas, they have listed volunteer opportunities on their website.
International politics are hitting close to home for some Baylor Bears from China.
We have more information on what you need to do with your visa when we come back.
It's not just a school to me, it's home.
Everyone's there to help you and to see you succeed.
Challenging.
Like, I'm here, I can do this. Friends.
Friendship.
Relationships.
There's people that know you and people that are there for you around every corner.
It's the shared experience. Rigorous.
Growth.
Transformative. Tradition.
Faith.
I've loved every second of it. It's family.
It's home.
It's Baylor.
Award-winning journalist and novelist Rod Davis said individuals better be ready to embrace change and work hard regardless of their career path they intend to follow. Davis is coming to campus Thursday to give a lecture about his career in journalism and the importance of communication in the workforce and in life. Davis has written, reported, and edited for various newspapers and magazines in his career, including the Boston Globe magazine, the Los Angeles Times, and Texas Monthly. His lecture will cover various topics, including stories about his travels and the lessons he gained from those experiences. His lecture will be at 2 p.m. Thursday in Castle Law Room 245 and again at 5 p.m. and that same day in Castle Law Room 252.
Baylor has live bears Joy and Lady as its mascots. But did you know one of the buildings on campus has an animal it claims as its own? Thanks to a Baylor professor, that stray cat now has a shelter right here on campus. LTVN's Elizabeth Tharp tells us more.
If you've ever been to or walked by the Castle Law building here on Baylor's campus, then you've probably passed by this cute furry little friend seeking shelter. Well, thanks to Baylor professor and animal lover John Cunningham, Shadow didn't have long to wait for some help. And it all started 8 years ago.
I actually saw her outside and she was attacking a squirrel. And I'm a lover of all animals and I didn't want to see that happen. So I thought, you know what, if I started feeding her, then maybe she'd leave the squirrels alone.
And sure enough, it did.
Let's go get some food.
Since then, Cunningham comes in to care for Shadow 5 days a week around 6 a.m. and she's always at the door waiting for him. She then follows Cunningham into his office while he prepares her food. And then he walks her back outside so she can eat.
You ready?
Cunningham said a lot of people who love Shadow were concerned about where she would go on cold winter nights, so they wanted to give her a shelter to stay protected and warm.
One of the journalism professors came up with the idea of kind of getting a makeshift litter box, but with blankets in it so she could cuddle up in the winter time and at least be protected, not necessarily from the extreme cold, but from the wind. I think that's a big deal. So I've seen her in there a couple times, so I know she uses it, and it's right by where her food is, so it's a nice little place where she has a place to sleep and her food and water right next to it.
Being an animal lover since he was 8 years old, Cunningham said it warms his heart knowing he's able to help Shadow and other animals in need of shelter and love, just like God planned for him. For Lariat TV News Today, this is Elizabeth Tharp reporting. According to the Wall Street Journal, Chinese international students may be restricted to work in and study in the United States, which could affect some Baylor students. The majority of international students at Baylor are from China, and the Director of International Studies, Students, and Scholarly Services, Mark Bryant, says Chinese students contribute greatly to Baylor's academic life. The Trump administration has placed restrictions on many Chinese products and may also restrict frequent travelers from getting 10-year visas. The executive director and CEO of NASA, Esther D. Brimmer, believes that these restrictions will negatively impact our world today. Chinese exchange student Nicole Wang said Chinese students may want to look into studying and working in nations that are welcoming if the Trump administration.
Houston sophomore Chris Nunn has created a new app called Town Trotter, which will begin one of its first major testing phases next week. Town Trotter will allow businesses to offer promotions to people who check in through the app. Checking in and completing digital challenges allow users to earn Trotter points, which can be exchanged for coupons or rewards at local businesses. Nunn's app development team consists of 3 other students, including app co-founder Chris Hawley. Freshman Melinda White and sophomore Mason Stetler are in charge of marketing and advertising. The team said their current target audience is Baylor students, but they would eventually like to expand to other universities in the general population. The Baylor softball team struggled against OU this weekend.
But the women's track team brought home some great wins from their latest invitational. We've got sports coming up next.
It's not just a school to me, it's home.
Home.
Everyone's there to help you and to see you succeed.
Challenging.
Like, I'm here, I can do this. Friends,
Friendship.
Relationships.
there's people that know you and people that are there for you around every corner.
It's the shared experience. Rigorous.
Growth.
Transformative. Tradition.
Tradition.
Faith.
Faith.
I've loved every second of it. It's family.
It's home.
It's Baylor.
After being swept by 20th ranked Oklahoma over Easter weekend and another tough defeat by Texas State Monday night, the Baylor baseball team was able to take down Lamar 2-1 Tuesday night at the Baylor ballpark.
Tomorrow we're going to come out and we're going to have a great practice. We're going to have kind of an individual deal where we're just helping guys, just let them hit, and just let them hit, let them feel good. Hopefully we can take it over to the weekend against Texas.
It just takes one. It's just take one first step closer to where we were and just go from there.
Tuesday night, Lamar took the lead at the top of the fourth with center fielder Cole Girard hitting an RBI to bring in Logan LaHune. But Baylor freshman outfielder Davion Downey delivered a 2-run double at the bottom of the sixth, bringing in Shea Langoliers and David Wenzel to put the Bears on top. The Bears will hit the road to Austin to take on the University of Texas in a 3-game series this weekend. This past weekend, the Baylor softball team lost all 3 games of their series against defending national champion Oklahoma. On Thursday, the Bears dropped a 5-0 decision that came back on Friday and were run-ruled in 5 innings. Head coach Glenn Moore called it one of the worst defeats he's been a part of. He challenged the team to put that loss behind them quickly and move forward, and the Lady Bears accepted this challenge and came back on Sunday, committing no errors and actually out-hitting OU in a 4-1 defeat. Baylor heads back to Abilene for an April 4th contest at ACU before continuing on for a weekend series in Lubbock at Texas Tech. March Madness came to an end over Easter break in an exciting way. On the women's side, number 1 seed Notre Dame took home the crown after a back-and-forth battle with another number 1 seed Mississippi State. The game was close throughout, but a buzzer beater by Notre Dame sealed the victory for the Fighting Irish, 61-58. It was Notre Dame's second last-minute shot of the Final Four, as they also defeated Connecticut in overtime 91-89. On the men's side, 3-seed Michigan faced 1-seed Villanova in San Antonio. Michigan took down Loyola Chicago to reach the national championship game, while Villanova cruised by Kansas behind a Final Four record 18 three-pointers. In the championship game, Michigan jumped out to an early lead, but Villanova's offense proved to be too Marines as Villanova won 79-62 to win their second national championship in 3 years. Men's tennis picked up 2 home wins over the weekend against Incarnate Word in a doubleheader, giving the Bears 15 straight home victories. In the first match, Baylor grabbed a 5-2 win with a strong doubles performance. The Bears dominated in the second match, sweeping the Cardinals 7-0. These wins moved Baylor to 17-4 this season and number 19 in the nation. The Bears have now won 11 of their last 12 matches. Baylor Track and Field took home the women's 4x800 relay and the women's 4x400 relay event titles at the Clyde Littlefield Texas Relays Saturday in Austin. On the men's side, the 400-meter relay posted a top 3 finish, and the Bears head back to Waco to host the Baylor Invitational on Saturday, April 7th, with field events starting at 10 a.m. and running events beginning at 3 p.m. And that's your sports update for today.
And that's Lariat TV News. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Friday.